Hello and welcome back to HR Stew. My name is Regina Direly.
And I'm Holly Knowles.
And this is HR Stew.
As the season of thanks rolls in and pumpkin pie starts appearing in office break rooms, we're turning our focus to gratitude at work. From handwritten notes to public shoutouts, expressing appreciation can transform workplace culture, but it's not always as simple as a thank you email. In this episode, we're digging into how gratitude shows up, or doesn't, in the workplace, why it matters, and how to make it meaningful and not awkward. So grab your warm beverage of choice and settle in. It's time to talk turkey and thankfulness. So the first question I have is, small or large, what is your favorite way you have received thanks in the workplace?
So one of my favorite ways that I have received thanks in the workplace is extra paid time off. I'm sure you knew I was going to say that. But we have these things called assembly points where peers can give you gratitude and shout outs, those kinds of things. And I had earned enough assembly points for a full day of PTO, and I was really excited about that. I also enjoy the assembly points. Just when somebody does something good for you, you can go in and say, hey, great job on this. I really appreciate all your hard work.
I really like the assembly points too. I really like that we also have options for donations as well. And a lot of people use it for donations.
Mine's PTO.
Holly, we removed that feature.
I know.
It's too hard to quantify for accounting because everybody has different pay rates. And that's the main reason why it just was too hard. But for me, I think, what really means something to me is when someone actually sees me. Especially the invisible work, the stuff behind the scenes. Like, I know there's been times in my career where I was doing things behind the scenes and somebody actually called it out. I like feeling seen.
Yeah, I agree. Many years ago in my early 20s, I received the Employee of the Year is what you called it, but that's not what they called it. It was the stupidest thing ever. It was a pickle ornament, and they had this whole thing as to why I was the pickle, and there was an acronym. I wish I still had it, but I still have this pickle. In that moment, it meant so much to me to be acknowledged for all of the hard work that I had done for that particular year.
That's awesome. You were Chief Pickle.
I was. I still have the pickle.
Also, I like pickles.
Yes.
Not all appreciation needs to be a grand gesture. Quick thank yous, midday check-ins, and Slack or Teams shout-outs go a long way in building a culture of gratitude. These, quote, micro thanks may be small, but they're mighty. So the first question I have on this topic is going to be, how has showing gratitude changed in a hybrid or remote environment? And do you think it's suffered or improved? And I'm talking about these micro thanks, the walk by.
I think that they're less frequent, like the quick walk by. Hey, great job on this, when you're hybrid or remote, because you really have to make a conscious effort to schedule time or schedule a Teams message. Yes, you can send a note, but it's not that in person.
I'm not sure. Definitely visibility has changed, but I don't know. I think a lot of times when people walk by, they were asking me for something and not thanking me for something. So maybe that's part of being in HR. I just think, yes, you definitely have to be more intentional about it.
Yeah.
I think a company like us, we're really good about having Teams channels that we send acknowledgments on. You mentioned our assembly points.
Right. We
do peer shout outs at the end of our all staff. I think you just have to be intentional about it. And then it becomes part of your culture. It just is. It's just something that exists.
Yeah.
So we all primarily, even though we're in the office, all of us work primarily remotely.
Yeah.
We're hybrid.
Yeah.
80% is remote, but not everybody, but for most people. And that's by choice.
Right.
I don't know. Visibility has changed. It hasn't suffered or improved. I just think it's evolved.
I know I'm only speaking for myself. There are times when I'm like, oh, I forgot to say thank you to Harrison for something that he did, or thank you to whoever for something that they did. And then if I see them, it triggers a response. Oh, I feel I had to get better at making a conscious effort. If somebody does something that deserves a thank you, I need to stop what I'm doing and give them those.
Okay, I hear you, but that would happen to me in person too. I'm so singularly focused on what I'm trying to accomplish a lot of times.
Right.
Often I would think after the fact anyway, oh crap. You know what I mean? Yeah, I accomplished what I wanted, but I forgot to do a thank you or acknowledgement or something.
Yeah.
So I think in general, with my personality, I've always had to be a little more intentional anyway, just because I can be I am appreciative. I'm making myself sound bad, but
you can get tunnel vision on the tasks that you have.
Correct.
And yeah, I agree 100%. But sometimes just that face-to-face helps me to remember. Like today I came in and I was like, oh, I've been meaning to ask Harrison this one question. And I came in and asked right away because I got to see him face-to-face today.
So in that, do you find there's cultural value in giving quick thanks to your team members?
I think there's cultural value in giving thanks, period. Whether it's quick, whether it's formal, whether it's intentional, give thanks.
I think certain cultures, the only time you get appreciation might be at a performance review, your annual review. Everything else is just about work. Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in really acknowledging day to day or week to week or whatever it is that's appropriate when someone is doing a good job, not just to think that is their job. Because I know that's a mentality also that exists. Like, why am I thanking someone? They're just doing their job. Yes, but some people do it better than other people.
How can organizations work these micro expressions of gratitude into their culture?
I think one of the things that we've implemented, you took away from a client's all staff, is you implemented peer shout outs at the end of our all staff meeting because you went to a client all staff and you thought that was amazing. So I think adding different ways for people to say thank you. Yes, we can all say thank you privately. We can say thank you through assembly. We can say thank you on our peer shout out on our monthly all staff. So just adding them in to different ways to fully make sure that the way that everybody wants to be praised is allowed in not allowed in the organization. That's the wrong word, but
I think what's good about the peer shout out is that even for an introvert that is uncomfortable with praise, it's so quick that we move on to the next person. It's not like you're really singling that person out. You're acknowledging them, but then you're moving on. And I think that's what makes it comfortable because there are people that work here that are not comfortable with public praise.
Yeah.
Period. They want to be acknowledged, certainly. I think most people do, but not with the public. I think it works for that reason. It's acknowledgement, and then we move to the next person. I think also, again, to just reiterate, having software that helps facilitate it, especially when there's maybe even prizes attached to it like ours is. Now we calculate every month and we publish it. We're spending several $100s a month on that stuff when people cash it out. Some of that is donations, not even going to them.
Right.
So I think that is meaningful. Most HRIS systems now have, not all, but most of them have recognition software in there. We use one that's outside of ours because we liked it and we don't want to change because it's working for us. The more you do, the more it becomes part of your culture and you have a culture of gratitude.
So this kind of works as a good transition. Some people love the spotlight, others not so much. Let's discuss the pros and cons of public appreciation, explore how different personalities respond to recognition, and share how we as leaders can make public thanks feel sincere instead of performative. So the question I have is, in your opinion, what makes public thanks feel authentic versus forced or performative? And just a little bonus, what is your public recognition pet peeve?
I think when recognition is vague, it's not authentic. Authentic recognition names the action and the impact, right? So Harrison, great job on the newsletter. You make us look so professional and such a bigger company than we actually are. It's specific. That to me is meaningful. Pet peeve is when managers don't know how their team wants to be recognized, not taking the time to know that. And like we mentioned earlier, I've witnessed it before where managers will specifically, because I think it's funny that someone gets embarrassed, will call out people in an environment they're not comfortable with. I don't like that. I think it's unnecessary.
I think my pet peeve is a manager or a member of leadership not being specific, but they're giving the exact same thank you, like, great job, you're a great part of the team, so lucky to have you. But it's to every single person at the company or on the team, right. And it seems so disingenuous.
When everybody's great, then nobody's great.
Yeah. I think that is my biggest pet peeve. Yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve.
What's one example of public recognition that truly motivated you or someone on your team that you can think of?
At my last company, we had several awards, but we had a big award that we gave out every year. There was this one year that a very under the radar person ended up winning. And it was because one person lobbied for them and got other people on their side. And it was such a game changer. Like when I said this person was under the radar, like a very consistent, good worker, but just wasn't very public. No one never had a manager that really kind of called them out. So that person then, you're watching in real time, applied for a promotion after that, got the promotion, just had a really good trajectory, and actually still works there to this day. And it was bought by an AI company. It was in a really solid role. I don't know if that one person didn't take the time and the effort to kind of lobby for them. Them winning wasn't guaranteed, obviously. Everybody voted, but it gained momentum, and then they won. I just think it changed their entire career trajectory. It was really powerful. It was really cool to see.
I think also seeing members of leadership just acknowledging how great members of their team are so that those people who would fall under the radar are seen. Because if you have 20 managers in an organization, little Sally isn't going to get the appreciation that she deserves unless her managers really speak out and advocates for them.
Yeah.
All right, so to conclude, gratitude is great, but let's be honest, sometimes what we really want is a bonus, as Holly said at the beginning. So to wrap it up, I want to discuss tangible appreciation, so bonuses, time off, gift cards, and other things like that. The first question I have is, can monetary thanks replace verbal or emotional appreciation, or do we need both?
I think we need both.
You need both.
Yeah.
Like, don't just throw money at something and...
No, throw money at me all day long.
Well, yeah.
I would say that.
However, how are you really going to feel appreciated if you're just throwing money? Yes, throw money at us all day long. However, I think you definitely need both.
But everybody has a price, because I do. I may suffer in silence.
Okay, so then should monetary recognition always be tied to results, or can you reward effort and growth?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I still have it. It's on my desk at home. I received this little gnome just for effort and growth. I went from a D in my college German class to the next test was a B. So my effort and growth was rewarded, and I appreciate it. With a gnome.
I like it.
I love this thing so much. So yeah, German was hard for me.
All right, and finally, can you share a time that you felt like a monetary thank you completely missed the mark?
I have a specific example.
I don't have any examples.
After a layoff of some pretty popular people, I would say. Popular is maybe the wrong word, but liked, respected people, that's better phraseology. They did bonuses, and it really was not received very well. It really had, and again, everybody likes receiving money, but not, it was like just distasteful. It felt like a payoff,
yeah,
I think, to people to not be upset about how things went down. So that's a specific example. I'm sure people still spent the money, but it really was in poor taste.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few organizations lay people off and then do Christmas bonuses. Granted, they're not high or anything. Yeah. I'm sure there are people that said instead of this $500 Christmas bonus or holiday bonus, you could have kept this person on for another year or something. So.
All right, so next we go to Ask HR, the segment where people can ask professionals questions and get answers. This comes from Swimming Job 6649. It is titled, Am I Overreacting? A manager I supervise had his spouse call me after a write-up. It reads, I'm a store manager at a mid-sized retail chain. One of my direct reports, let's call him Jake, is a department lead who has struggled with tone and professional communication for a while. He's been corrected multiple times, and it even was mentioned on his performance review last year. Yesterday, after an incident where he spoke to me in front of other staff in a condescending and confrontational tone, questioning my footwear, which is well within dress code, I addressed it directly and issued a formal write-up after confirming with my district manager. Today, his wife, who happens to be a store manager at another location in the same company, called me under the pretense of, quote, dress code violations. She claims to have heard about it in my store from, quote, another manager. She made vague comments about things being, quote, loose when I'm on duty, and she's not sure if something crazy is going on. She's not my peer in this location. She has no oversight over my position. It felt really like she was calling to intimidate or push back on the fact that I disciplined her husband. It left me feeling incredibly uncomfortable and honestly kind of blindsided. I've reported it up the chain, but I'm trying to check myself and make sure I'm not overreacting. I know sometimes when you're in it, your perception gets cloudy, but has anyone dealt with something like this? Is it out of line for me to escalate this, or should I be brushing it off and keep it moving?
No, she's not overreacting.
No, she should not brush it off.
Correct. First of all, if she brushes it off and doesn't report it, that could bite her in the butt too.
Yeah.
If something like this was to happen again, because then it'll be like, why didn't you report it? So that's absolutely, she should escalate it appropriately. But first of all, there's no circumstance where it would have been appropriate for one store manager to call another and ask about dress code violations within her store, right? So there's no scenario where that would be appropriate. Now, considering that the husband, who I'm completely reading between the lines here. Like, I know not this at all. I don't know this at all. But to me, his wife is a store manager. I think he thinks he should be the store manager.
I think he thinks he can get away with anything because his wife is the store manager and she's going to call.
Potentially, or he just thinks if he's talking to her in a condescending manner in front of other people more than once, that it was in his previous years. Like, this is long-term inappropriate behavior.
Right.
He does definitely feel untouchable, which is probably why he was so upset that he was written up.
Right.
And that he did have the regional district manager, is that what it said?
District manager.
Support behind that, because I'm sure he questioned it. I'm sure she mentioned it when she was giving him the write-up, just based on knowing this type of person. This is a clear boundary violation by the wife.
Yeah.
It is highly inappropriate, and it's a conflict of interest. It's a clear conflict of interest.
100%. And it's a jab to the other store manager.
I mean, this isn't just an uncomfortable situation. This is potentially retaliatory behavior based on her husband being upset, right? It should be documented. It should definitely be escalated. Even if she's just sending an email saying what happened, that's still to her regional manager.
Right.
That's still who I'm assuming I'm calling a regional manager. I don't know why. To the district manager, who I'm assuming is also this other store manager's manager, maybe?
I
don't
assume.
know. I don't know. I think the district manager absolutely has to talk to the supervisor. This is just crazy. The only thing I had close to this, because she's asking, has this ever happened to you, was I've told the story before where we had someone's mother call because we didn't shut our location because of bad weather. And this was someone's mother,
I had someone have her husband come in. I think I've said this before too. Had her husband come in while she was getting her final written warning, and then she ended up getting terminated, and her husband was there for that as well. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Put on your big girl pants or big boy pants and handle your situations on your own.
The other thing is, it's like brushing it off, like seemingly could make you potentially feel like you're being the bigger person. But I just think it always ends up biting you in the butt. Like, I just don't think that she should. This is pretty, you could brush it off and move on with your life, and maybe nothing will ever happen again with the store manager. That is the truth.
Right.
But also, I just think it's outrageous behavior, and she should not be allowed to believe that she could get away with it. I can't even imagine how condescending the wife was when she's calling another store manager and asking about how her employees are dressing or whatever, or maybe insinuating that she's not dressing appropriately. That's just crazy behavior.
It makes me question, like, does the wife have all the necessary leadership skills to be a store manager? Is the wife in the right role? I know I'm probably reading into it, but
that's what we do. We only have a limited amount of information. We're going with it. This is definitely questionable behavior. Maybe she does play the mom role in her relationship with her husband, if we're really reaching now. When I read this right before this started, I was embarrassed for her.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's embarrassing. She should be embarrassed, and to not actually take the store manager's side. I don't know how he's presenting it, but there's no scenario. First of all, my husband would never do anything like this, but there's no scenario where my husband would have presented like, yeah, and then I told my manager that her shoes were inappropriate. I would have been like, what? Like, why would you, even if they were inappropriate, why would you say anything? Or not in front of people. Yeah. He absolutely thinks he's untouchable.
Yeah.
You're right.
100%, which is a shame. But he's on a final now, maybe.
Didn't say final.
No, it didn't.
Did it say final?
No, it's just another write-up.
I was hopeful. Maybe I was trying to read into it.
You know what? She probably feels at her wit's end that she can't get rid of him because he is married to another store manager and he's in a lead position and she clearly doesn't have a great relationship with him. What a miserable, I don't know, that's just miserable.
Yeah, I agree.
So from an organizational standpoint, how would you handle this? You're in HR, you just got reported this up the chain, you're at the corporate level. What do you do?
I would have a conversation with that employee and with, I don't know, actually I wouldn't have a conversation with the employee because he was already reprimanded.
Yeah.
He's allowed to talk to his wife about his work. No, she needs to be spoken to for sure. That this is highly inappropriate behavior. Under what circumstance would you have called another store manager and talked about dress code of employees there?
Yeah.
Explain to me.
Yeah.
Or how you would have came upon that information even.
I agree 100%. I would have a conversation with the store manager, the wife. And
yeah, to me, this is actually a write-up for the other store manager. Not a final, but actually a documented, like, this is highly inappropriate behavior. And you're not disguising what your motivation was. Like, you're not fooling anybody.
Right.
Including the internet.
So that's all the time we have for today. We want to thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed your time with us, please subscribe and leave a review. If you have any HR stories or questions to share, message us on Instagram at hr.stew. I'm Holly.
And I'm Regina.
And we'll see you next time on HR Stew.